Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and other species that are on the planet that actually have the capacity and the mental fortitude to watch one of these videos. It is I, putting out yet another mindless babbling vlog thing for the sole purpose of alleviating my boredom and communicating an idea or two. How are you? I created this video for the sole purpose of alleviating my boredom and talking about something that I have recently thought about. And it's not really that complex an idea. Actually, that's not true. Several things, as I said those exact words that it wasn't a complex idea, popped into my head saying, well, are you going to talk about this? Which is kind of a complex idea. So in a sense, I've been misleading you this whole time without realizing it until I began to mislead you. That's just the way my brain works. God only knows why I've been put on the planet to deal with this kind of mental faculty, but hey, it's my cross to bear. Yes, it is almost New Year's Eve, and as we all know, when it comes to New Year's Eve, there's one particular thing, and yes, I said particular. There's one specific thing that we all mostly partake of, and that particular thing is, besides using the word particular a bunch of times in a video, New Year's resolutions. Now, I gave up doing New Year's resolutions a long time ago because, quite frankly, it was just frustrating and self-defeating. If you come up with an idea of what you want to accomplish and then you don't accomplish it right away, then you start beating yourself up and then you give up because what's the point? You aren't going to do it anyway because you're worthless. It seems like it's grounds for self-abuse. You're creating a failure that's going to happen because circumstances happen in life where it takes you away unless you're really focused. And then you end up beating yourself about the head and neck because you didn't do it. And I don't think that that's really fair to somebody who's trying to build a better life to put yourself up for failure. It just doesn't seem to work. Anyway, speaking of New Year's resolutions, I decided what I was going to do, and I actually decided this a couple days ago. It's not something that's new, but it's something that I've decided I am going to put myself down and do. And the reason why I've decided this one specific path is the one I'm going to take is because I don't have to do it on my own. My uncle is ex-military. He was in the military for 20 years of his life. 10 years Army, 10 years Marines. Not exactly in that order. Because of the fact that he's an ex-military man and we live in a military town, there are certain advantages to that, specifically because he has a military ID. On Fort Carson, which is the local Army base, they have several workout places, gymnasiums, that kind of thing. Because he has a military ID, he gains access to those free of charge. Plus, he's allowed to bring a guest with him without any cost to him or myself. So I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to start focusing on going to the gym. Now, the irony of gyms, as a lot of you I'm sure are aware, considering that, like me, you're probably not in the best shape of your life, and going to those places is really sort of a activity in self-flagellation. Whenever you go to their places, most of the people there are already in shape, and they're just maintaining their shape, or they're building more on top of what they already have. They look good, they got the muscles, you know, they may only have a little bit of a side pouch or something, but they look good. They're people that have dedicated their time to be in better shape. And then there's you, or in this case me, a pale, overweight, hairy bastard who really shouldn't be doing anything except perhaps maybe sitting in a dark cave typing on a computer keyboard, which is usually what I do. So going to these places is really sort of an act of self-abuse. Going there and seeing the people that don't look like me and feeling completely out of place because, quite frankly, this is obviously a temple for the body, and my body is about as large as a temple. So that was one of the main reasons why I've always been hesitant to actually partake of the act of going to a gym, because I always feel out of place. I always feel self-conscious. Now, I know that I'm always shouting and perpetuating, whatever. My language is just out the window today. I can't believe I actually screwed up that word. I'm always perpetuating was not the word I was going for, and promoting was not the word I was actually going for. Proponent, I am a proponent of, so propoting, which is not actually a word. Moving on. Because of the fact that I want to get in better shape, but I don't like the way I look, going there and being seen in the shape that I'm in makes me uncomfortable. And being a person who's always maintaining the ideal that I don't care what other people think, that's true. But it doesn't stop me from being self-conscious, because when people look at me, it makes me look at me, and then I'm already unhappy with how I look. So, in a sense, it's one that begets another. That's one of the main reasons why I don't go to gyms, as stupid as that sounds. You go there to get in shape. You know, they didn't build gymnasiums for people that were already in shape. But that doesn't stop me from being very self-conscious about the fact that I know how I look, and I'm comparing myself to other people and whatnot. Now, if you talk to any avid gym enthusiast, they'll tell you that it's a good thing to have people that aren't in shape there. Why? Because that means that they're working towards being in shape. So those people, the smart ones, the positive ones, the ones that aren't worth being hit in the head with a crossbeam, are the ones that will say, it's good that you're here. You're building yourself. I'm here to support you. I think it's a good thing. And the positive reinforcement. But then, of course, you've got the multitude of self-absorbed, self-centered, egotistical assholes that make you feel like crap while you're sitting there basically trying to sweat your balls off, or, ovaries, depending. Doing something as simple as walking on the treadmill or doing bench presses or whatever. You got Mr. Can bench press 4,000 pounds with his eyebrow showing off and basically sitting next to you so that he can show just how cool he is. You get self-conscious and you want to get out of there. Well, I've decided that I want to do something. I'm sitting in my apartment. I'm unemployed. The least I can do is dedicate part of my time to the prospect of being a bigger, healthier me. If I'm going to be bigger, I would like it to be in a shapely fashion rather than in a when this plane crashes, grab on and he'll float you to survival fashion. So yes, that is my plan. I'm going to be going with my uncle, and I'm going to be focusing on going and not on the results of going. And of course, I know for those of you that are familiar with the process of getting in shape, I know that you're supposed to stagger it. So since I'm going to be going every day, I'd like to go every day. One day is going to be dedicated to just walking the track over and over and over again. Apparently, it's a 1/24th of a mile track, so I'm going to be looping that bitch quite a bit. And then the second day, do a little bit of the walking, and then just do circuits on the Nautilus machines. I don't do free weights. I'd like machines that are designed for very specific exercises to build specific muscles. I'm looking to thin out the extra me that you've all come to know and love. Watching some of my older videos, I see I have a thinner face. And back then, I felt I was in a bad shape, so God, I must be horrendous now. So that's what's going on with me. I'm going to be going out there, and I'm going to be perusing the gymnasium scene, maybe getting myself into a better shape. And by better shape, I mean less of one. I'd like to be more of a line than an actual circle, if you know what I'm saying. Even though technically a circle is one line, self-connecting. The stuff I got to put up with me. But anyway, so that is the original thought. And then I had some other thoughts, of course, that I had mentioned earlier, where I was talking about the idea of, I was thinking about, I saw the movie Angels and Demons, which, of course, for those of you that are not Dan Brown fans, I watched because I was bored, so I spent $3 and rented it on my PlayStation. One of the statements that one of the characters in the movie makes to the main character, which is Tom Hanks' character who plays the professor, where he says something along the lines of, "My church is a church that gives to the poor and feeds the hungry and clothes the homeless," and whatever. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about the argument that people use when they are religious people. And the people that aren't religious quote things like the Inquisition and, the Crusades and the like. It seems to me that saying, well, that was the past, and we need to look at the church as it is today, would be along the same lines as if you knew somebody who 2 years ago went into a mall and shot everyone. Just went in and shot them. Took people and shot them in the knee, and then shot them in the elbow, and then shot them in the leg so that they were tortured before they died, and just killed everybody 2 years ago. And then since that 2 years, and this is sort of an extreme because it's a much, much longer thing, but it's still the same thing. Then a couple years later, they start, they go out and they do charity work, and they feed the homeless, and they give all their money to needy organizations, and they go out and they build houses for the homeless and stuff. Does that somehow remove the fact that that person went out and killed an entire mall of people. And that's exactly where my head is, man. It seems like, you know, that our one of our greatest strengths as a species is the ability to move beyond tragedy. But I think it's also one of our greatest weaknesses because people forget. People forget those things, and they make excuses for it. It no longer has an impact. People that don't survive those kind of travesties and those kind of horrendous events, the ones that don't deal with them, like, for example, the people in New York in 9/11, during the 9/11 thing, they remember. I know people that are still, to this day, and it's going on almost a decade later, that are still very affected by that. They were there. They saw the devastation. They heard the screams. They have witnessed it firsthand, and they haven't forgotten. You know, that there are people that weren't there that saw it and lived vicariously through the experiences that were on the news and by people that they knew that were there and people that they heard about. Those people, 9/11 it happened. It's there, but, you know, it's there. It's the same sort of mentality, I think. The same sort of point is that when it happens a long time ago, it seems to lose its integrity. Not integrity in the sense of integrity in the value, but integrity is in its solid state. It doesn't have the same impact, so therefore it doesn't have the same weight. And that was where my head was. And obviously that was a really, really clumsy way of trying to talk about this one idea. But like I said, it popped into my head. I was thinking when I was saying, oh, something that's not that important or not that heavy. And then it came into my head, and that's what I was talking about. Anyway, we're looking at what? 12 minutes of this. So, yeah, that's what's going on with me. I have no idea. I'm sitting here in my apartment for the... you know what? I should do like a 10-second video every day. And it wouldn't even have to be a different video. It would just be a video of me waking. You see my eyes open, like, okay, so the camera's on my face and my eyes are closed and my eyes open, and then the camera, you know, it jumps back, the camera cuts back, and now it's at my door, and I get out of bed, and then I walk over and it shows me going to the bathroom, and you hear some water running and stuff, and then go into the kitchen and I make a bowl of cereal. Obviously this is longer than 10 seconds. I make a bowl of cereal. And then I eat that, and then I go into the living room and I sit down in front of my laptop and I turn it on and I start doing my thing. And then you see from the side where it shows me on the computer, the sun arcing past my window like as time-lapse going by. And then it gets dark, and then it gets real dark, and then you see me shut off my computer and then walk into the bedroom and the light goes out, and that's the end of the video. And I should play that for like, 2 months straight every day. So that's pretty much what my life is. I obviously excluded going and getting more food during lunch, as well as bathroom breaks and if the phone rings, but that's not the point. The point is that the majority of the content of my life has been reduced to those actions. And my oven's ready for me to put food in. Yay! So I'm going to use that as a cue. That whole time I was talking was my oven preheating. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to post this because fuck it. I feel like posting it. I'm not even going to watch I'm just going to cut it and post it. That's it. I'm not even going to watch it. So you guys will see it the first time, even though I don't ever edit my stuff, and I usually do that, but I'm trying to make it sound dramatic by saying I'm going to do it this time rather than saying I do that every time. It just sort of takes the panache out of the experience. I'm trying to make it special for you.